On this episode of the Mompreneur Show, I'm talking with Hillary Rubin. She's a wife, a mother of an adorable little boy, and a life and business coach. And today she'll be sharing us her journey, how she went from a yoga teacher to a coach, and how you can become a coach as well. My name is Vicky, and this is a show that features amazing stories of the most remarkable mompreneurs. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey Hillary, welcome to the show.
Hey Vicky, I'm so happy to be here.
Honey, it's so good to have you. I'm so happy that we finally made it happen. So tell us about your journey. How did you become an entrepreneur, and how did becoming a mother change your entrepreneurial journey?
I thought you were going to say, how did you become a mom? And I'm like, well, we all know how that happened. So it's been quite a journey for me, like all of us. Yeah. And if I look at my life experience, I came from the fashion world. That's what I did, from corporate and working for myself. So I constantly pulsated between working for other people and getting fired or leaving, and then working for myself, because I didn't realize I was an entrepreneur. Like, I didn't know that, it's like I just didn't realize it. And that was also why it would be tricky working at places. So my foundation is in fashion, and I ended up doing a lot of different things, living in New York. There's lots of opportunities, and we're talking about the late 90s. And I ended up working at Prada, and I worked at Ralph Lauren, and I had my own PR company, and I produced fashion shows. So I was doing a lot of business stuff early on. And then what really changed for me is when I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in the late 90s, it really was my wake-up call, was, okay, I'm working at Prada. I think this is where I'm supposed to be. And then I had to pay attention to my health. So that changed a lot of things for me. And what eventually, over the steps and the decisions that I've made, I worked freelance a lot in PR because that was my foundation. And then I went into the yoga world. So I became a yoga teacher and was certified as a yoga teacher, and did that for many years, and then transitioned into coaching. So it was constantly transitioning and having a side gig. Yeah. So I always had something on the side. And now I'm a coach trainer. I'm a mentor for coaches. I have a coach training program. And so my side gig, is that my side gig, or which is the side gig, being a mom or that, right? Mm-hmm. And now, because my coach training program I've had for a few years now, having my son made it really different, because I was working full time and everything was free and easy, like everyone knows. And then you have a child and you're like, whoa, I just got the top position of something that I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I have no experience, and I'm now president and CEO. So it's really allowed me to be a lot better coach and a lot better person, and really put into place what is important in life, I would say.
So that's so powerful. And I love that you said, you got this position of like the CEO position, and really being nearly clueless, like what awaits me, like with this new baby. By the way, he's so cute. Oh my goodness. And time flies. Can't believe he's 2 already. So Hillary, how did you ease into becoming a mother while being a coach? Because I know that you have a lot of clients, you have a coaching program. I mean, there's so many things on your plate. How did you, I think you took time off, but when you came back into it, how did you balance it all? Like, did you schedule it all? Did you have certain days when you worked? I'd love if you could share that with us.
Yeah, sure. Well, I took time off and I didn't take time off. It was interesting. My spiritual midwife that I work with was saying, you have to keep it every couple weeks, doing a meeting with your team, stay alive, have your energy there, because this is your business, because it is based on me and what I do. So that's different. And so coming back into it, things shifted because of scheduling, right? And then getting help and being able to trust someone else.
Oh yeah.
And then also I didn't sleep for 2 years. Like I didn't sleep. I finally just got my son to sleep and came back into being able to think and everything. So I will say that it was a little tricky and challenging, and it's being transparent, because for sometimes sometimes I see people that are just like, seems like it's all easy. And it was definitely what I call beautifully challenging. My schedule changed. Mondays were always my day to do food shopping and do my thing as an entrepreneur. And I started to work in the evenings. So it just moved things around. It was really moving things around. And I actually took some time from having clients. So when I took time off, I transitioned my clients actually using my e-course. I gave them the e-course to do, and then came on with me to do it afterwards. So that's what I did, and so today I work 3 days a week. So Mondays aren't really a day that I do this. So this is a big thing for me to get someone, find someone, to take care of my son, because Monday is the day that I'm with him on Mondays and Tuesdays, which is really important to me.
Thank you for being so real, because motherhood is so challenging. And we already have enough of like the perfect moments on Instagram where we browse through it like, oh my gosh, her motherhood is so simple. It's so beautiful. She always posts certain like just very light, happy photos all the time. And it gives us the impression that her motherhood journey is so perfect. But I appreciate you for being so honest and open that it's not like that. And when people post it, they just post their perfect moments, and it's totally beautiful and fine. So Hillary, how did you have this idea of becoming a coach? And you had so much experience in so many different industries, and you're essentially an expert in, multiple different niches. How did you have this idea to transition into becoming a coach?
Well, I saw someone doing it. You know what I mean? Like we all do. A lot of the times is I was teaching yoga, and I have a yoga DVD, and I had a lot of success in yoga. And I didn't want to drive everywhere. I was done with being the soccer mom. Now I'll be a soccer mom. But it got to a point where it wasn't sustainable, right? What I was doing. And I was turned on to actually Marie Forleo. Someone said, hey, I'm doing this online program with her. It was before school. And I did that. And I was working with other coaches and seeing what they were doing. And I was noticing how people were coming to me and how I was helping them. And it just seemed to me to be the natural next step. And I didn't do a coach training program. I didn't, because I was already certified as a yoga teacher, and I have a PhD in street smarts. I have my life experience,
Exactly.
And so I got to a place where I started to just figure it out, and I was coaching. So to me, the best coach training is hiring a coach. And I hired a coach. And then I started coaching people, and I was doing yoga and coaching, right? And then from that, it became fully coaching, and now it's coaching and being a mom. So it just made sense to me, and I started to create my own system, and I started to do the things that were natural for me and easy for me, and figured out what my gifts and my strengths were. And it took me a little bit of time to figure out my niche. And it's something I help people with and have a superpower, because I can see it for someone else. And I know a lot of women and a lot of entrepreneurs, those of you that are watching, which thank you for watching or watching the recording of this, is that everyone's saying you got to get your niche, you got to get your niche. And the thing is a lot of people in the beginning don't have a niche, and it takes time, because I've interviewed lots of coaches. I do all the time with my Breakthrough to Coaching Experience series. So for me, it was a natural progression, and it made sense. And for a lot of moms, whether you're working or not working, it may be a natural progression.
I am so happy that you touched upon this, because right here in my notes, I have to talk to you about niching. And in business world, if you go on any business how-to website, they tell you have to know your customer, you have to know what they want, you have to know what you offer them. But I love that you always talk about this, that you evolve. And it's so beautiful, because looking at my journey, and by the way, I've taken Hillary's program, which is absolutely amazing. And it was so open-minded and so like, hey, just start and do and coach based on what you've been through yourself.
Exactly.
And I absolutely love that. And that really, really helped me become a coach. And it really helped me put everything behind, like, as far as like, oh, but I'm not good enough. Oh, but I can't, what am I going to offer? Oh, but I'm charging too much, or I should charge less. Like, all these ideas like completely went away because of the fact that I can coach based on what I've been through, based on my experience. So when you were just starting to coach, what did you begin to coaching on, and like, how did you evolve as time went by?
That's a great question. Because I had this diagnosis of multiple sclerosis and I found a natural way to do it, I was working with people who were diagnosed with autoimmune diseases. It just seemed to be the natural thing that I knew, because I did yoga and I healed, I didn't heal myself, and I don't use that term. I mean, I did heal myself, but I don't use the word cure. And I was able to become symptom medication free. And I really noticed I had my own system of what I did. And then that's who I started out with. But then I also bumped up against people with a lot of medical bills and a lot of financial issues, and that they weren't able to pay for coaching. So it took a little bit of time to kind of figure it out. And then it was really, when I look at my story of what I did in my life, of changing careers, of working in corporate, of moving from New York to LA, changing my life, all the things that I did in my life were the things that people were coming to me with help. That's a little secret. Your about story, your mess to success is really points on that journey are versions of yourself of who you're helping, right? Like if you're helping a mom figure out what her career, her next career is going to be, it's like, you've gone through that, Vicky. I mean, I know that we've had big conversations,
Oh yeah.
And so it just became, it was just then the next steps for me, because I just went from the health thing to then when you're at a crossroads, and then everyone was coming and asking me about coaching, and I didn't do business coaching at first. And a lot of people think you need to be a business coach, money as a coach, and that's not so. So the niching thing, I really believe it's all about what conversation are you having? What conversation are you part of? I did a podcast recently, just my recent podcast. I just did on this, and which I'm going to plug it, the art of business for coaches. And people look at niche in this way that I feel makes it really uncomfortable, and it's really being curious. And as women, we're curious. We want it, or nosy, right? Whenever we look at it. And you're interviewing people and seeing what people are coming to you for help with is going to be a clue, right? That's going to be the breadcrumbs.
And that's the thing, when I mean, there's, as I was growing my business, there's so many people that came up to me as family. You can, like, those of you who are listening, by the way, I want to acknowledge you and thank you so much for listening to us live, for tuning in, for taking the time out of your busy life and listening to this real live feed, not 2x speed on podcast. So I really appreciate you. And I just want to say, Tyree, thank you so much for joining us. She referred back to what you said, Hillary, about beautifully challenging. And she said, love it. So real. I totally agree.
Cool.
And Deidra, hey Deidra, thank you so much for joining us. She said, OMG Hillary, you're totally speaking to me. I've also had years of PR experience contemplating getting my yoga certification and solidifying my niche, but have a 2-year-old and a 1-month-old, and I have to, and oh my gosh, I can't read. And I want to have a flexible schedule. I just can't figure out which niche to concentrate on and what my next step is. Deidra, baby, this is for you. This episode is for you. So thank you so much for joining us. But Hillary, I want to go back and ask a more of a selfish question. I mean, it is my show. I get to ask what I want, right? So can you take us back and just maybe share with us about your MS story? I know I've heard it before, but I think it's a beautiful story, and like maybe your way of like how you came out of it, because I know I have autoimmune disease. So many people have autoimmune disease nowadays. So many women don't even realize and they have it. But I just want to hear your story and how you got from there to here.
First, is this light too hot? Or is it okay? I've got this like diamond thing
Sweetheart, you
behind
know
me.
what? If you can like pull the curtain a little bit, if you'd
Yeah, I'm gonna
like.
do that. And I know that we're live, but I'm
It's
just
okay.
gonna pull this a little. Is that
Oh,
better?
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. See, we're doing natural lighting, and I love that. Like, I love things that are raw and real. Is that now I've got like this whole halo light, but that's okay. Yeah,
I wonder if
a
do
little
you
bit.
can you open the other side? And okay, this is
Good.
well then you
There we
have
go.
your
We're
face.
just kind of playing
Okay.
with it.
Yeah.
We're cool. Well, it's like I'm just gonna move a
Yeah.
little over there.
Oh, that's
Um,
good. That's good. That's good, sweetheart. And I can just
okay.
cut this out in the
No, that's
after.
cool. No worries. So, okay. The diagnosis was definitely an initiation. And when I was diagnosed, I thought everything was over and I thought it was done. And I don't ever say that I have it. That's the
Hmm.
biggest thing, Vicky. And I was diagnosed. That's why it's this diagnosis. It's not me. And it
Oh my gosh.
becomes it becomes an identity piece just like everything else. As a mom, it becomes an identity piece. I mean, I don't normally, I mean, I had my baby at 41. I'm 44, contemplating having a second baby.
Oh
So,
my
for
gosh.
you,
And
those
you
of you
look
that are watching
amazing.
this, thank you. I mean, for those of you that are watching this, it's like having a baby in your 40s and a business, it's a totally different game. And I waited because my career was so important to me. And now it's like this whole other thing. So for me, the diagnosis was a big game changer, a big eye opener, and I had to go down a path of healing. And I worked with over like 100 healers, and I was angry, and there was so much that I fear, and then when a doctor said, "Hey, this is how you're going to end up in your future," it was, "You're going to end up like in a wheelchair and this and that." And I went, "No, like that's not going to be my future." And it really I woke up at that moment to say, not take that. And that's not all right. So then I realized I could create a life in the way that works for me. And yes, I had to do the work. And so to me, that was also the beginning of my work online, was all about like getting real about your health and getting real about everything. So I think it was Deidre who's saying she doesn't know what niche. Deidre, just follow the path. And if yoga is the thing that's calling you, then do it. Because if it's becoming a yoga teacher and getting your experience, because the coaching thing will be a natural progression if you feel called to that.
Yeah.
And for me, yeah, I mean, the diagnosis was scared the crap out of me. And then I realized that I had to change how I was eating. I had to do a lot of things differently. I had to stop drinking and it was just really a wake up call. And then Embrace, Empower, Evolve was what I created, what I called the Living Kickstart program, which doesn't exist anymore. And it was first to embrace it. And then the empowerment was taking action that empowers you, and evolve was the evolution. And all this came from yoga. So what has influenced me as a person and in my body of work as a coach is, at my foundation, my philosophy is around this, is a philosophy based and steeped in yoga. And for all of you that are watching, you have a belief system, you have your own faith, you have a
Yes.
philosophy. And when you have a
Yes.
philosophy and you believe it and you talk about it, just like I am, and everyone that Vicky interviews is just telling you their opinion and their position. And you can do that too, right? And that is really what allows you to stand out from the crowd. And I believe that, and now I'm dealing with the labels of being a mom in her 40s. And then, you know what I'm saying? And it's not any different than having a diagnosis. It's like, wait a minute, I have this diagnosis. Now I'm part of this group of people, and I don't identify with that. I don't identify with the disease, right? It doesn't it just doesn't work for me.
Oh my goodness. I love what you said so much, Hillary. And knowing you for the past, what, 2, 3 years, you are so
Longer than that.
longer than that?
It's
4?
probably, if my son is 2 and I was pregnant for a year, it might be closer to 5.
Okay.
It might
Really?
be
Oh my gosh. Okay.
close to that. I know. You're like, what?
Because, yeah, I remember, I think it was Pioneer Nation when
was pregnant then.
yes, when I, yeah, what, was that the last time I saw you?
Yeah.
It was. It was. Oh my goodness. Okay. Time flies. So I want to go back and share a little bit about you. Like what I think about you. You're so careful in choosing the right words to say at all times.
Thanks. Thank you.
It is so empowering. Like, for example, I just read a comment and I stumbled and I said, I can't read. That is such a negative thing to say. And I've been, and it's good that I'm catching myself on
Okay,
that.
you caught it. It's great.
But like when even when we did calls, you would ground yourself and you would say all these positive affirmations. And I was driving my kids to school this morning and I was like, all right, guys, time for affirmations. And I think it's so
That's
important
awesome.
because we weren't taught that. At least like I wasn't taught that. So
I
many
wasn't
people,
taught that.
exactly. And so I love that about you. It's like really saying that MS was just a diagnosis. I don't own it. And it's really how you react to it. It's incredible. Oh my goodness, I can talk about this forever, but let's move on. Oh my gosh, we're so into this conversation and we have so much to cover. So Hillary, let's take your experience, everything that you're teaching, and apply it to our audience. Like,
Great.
let's say there's a mom that is let's say a few different examples. A mom who I saw Hengam joined us. She owns an incredibly successful pizzeria, and she was actually on my show, and she's very, very successful. But let's say she wants to go into the route of coaching, because I know that so many people come to her and ask, how did you start your business? How are you hiring employees? Because like that's the thing. And then there's another mom who's a stay-at-home mom. She's very into natural living. She washes her vegetables and fruits in vinegar. Like she doesn't have
Of course she does. Of course she does.
Like how can she take this coaching, take this knowledge and apply it and become a coach?
Well, see, there's a lot of moms that actually go through my program, and I have a coaching, a toolkit to help people with this as well, which we'll get into. The first one, if you have a business that's successful and people are coming to you for help, bingo, hello, whatever people are coming to you for help with, then you start coaching, or you say it's mentoring, or you call it what you'd like, you know what I mean? Don't get caught up on the word coach. A lot of people get really caught up again on the labels, right? If we go back to that. And so easily, because she has a small business, a pizzeria, it may be that she's coaching small businesses or people to have brick and mortar businesses. Yeah. And it could be in the food world, right? That could be a great place for her, and, to be able to help people and coach and mentor on.
And I feel like, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I feel like she can even, like, for example, and I hope she's okay with me talking about her like this, but for example, let's say she starts coaching and mentoring people about on generally brick and mortar business and all the aspects. And like, you just never know what if, like, there's people always asking her for hiring advice more than anything else. And then all of a sudden, a year later, she can turn into that route and be a hiring coach.
Yeah, but the other thing is people are coming for specific aspects of business. And I mean, you just get started. It's not even having to figure out where it's going, is that she already has this business and is doing this. So it's just kind of going through that. And even if it's a mom who is cleaning vegetables and, is basically into, say, clean living and that kind of work, because I have a lot of moms, it may be, what was the impetus to start doing that? And so what I teach and what part of my work is to look at your timeline, right? To look at your life of what you've done, what you've overcome, where you were, how where you were, where you are, and how you got there, right? Like that timeline. And when you start to look at that, then you're like, okay, because you're going to be helping somebody who is a couple steps behind you. Exactly. Right. And that's the whole key. And so the idea of coaching and mentoring, and a lot of people are like, do you need to get certified? My program's not a certification. The Art of Becoming a Coach is not a certification, because certification is a business model. It is. And it means, and you're paying for that. And you're paying to use someone else's techniques, and getting tested and going through, not tested, but you have to go through the levels so that you can carry that name and say you're a boom coach, right? Martha Beck never got certified, but she has a certification, and she's not even part of the Coach Federation, which is kind of interesting, because I think unless they're going to like grandfather her or grandmother her in or whatever. So the main thing is your clients are never really looking for they're looking for results, and that's it. And so if coaching is something that you're curious about, and you think that you can be, and you're already helping people, then it's most likely right under your nose, which I see all the time. It's just the fraud thing comes up of like, well, who am I? And it's like, well, who are you not? to do that. Is really my question on that is, yeah, I didn't think that I could do it. I didn't finish college. I mean, I went for 2 years and didn't get my degree because of like a big family experience. My mother passed away, and then I didn't, what it was like a whole thing. It just didn't happen. And I deal with dyslexia. I deal with all that stuff. And however, I have results, and I've gotten results in my life, and I'm able to get results for people because the psychology of a human being and personal development is really important. So what I just want to say, the last thing is, mamas, the best coaching is going to be parenting books.
Can you elaborate on that, please?
That's the best coaching. Well, because I'm raising my son, and I am a huge fan of RIE, which is founded by Magda Gerber and Emily Pickler, and it's a whole respect infant caring, and it's a whole philosophy on how to raise children, and it talks about how certain behaviors are built in self-esteem. And it was really important for me. So when I look at how I'm raising my son, and that I don't go, yay, and celebrate him, I basically say, oh, you're proud of yourself. So I'm helping him to build his self-esteem, not on me, on my approval, right?
That is so powerful.
Because when I work with clients, it's, am I enough? They're looking for the approval of a parent that never gave it to them. We're looking for love. So getting into the psychology, because coaching is an evolution of psychology. So when you get interested in human development and you see kind of the way that you're raising your children, it's pretty fascinating because when I'm coaching and helping people, they're like, oh, I need you as a business coach. Well, yeah, I got to do the inner game first. And whatever you're wanting to have happen isn't happening because there's there's personal development that needs to happen first.
Oh my goodness, exactly. I mean, there's so many women that I coach that come to me for one thing and they end up coaching for a completely different thing because it's so true. The inner game, or like, for example, like they come to me coaching for business, but their life is a mess. And so like, I feel like you know what I mean? Like,
no, I just know their life. It's just the things are out of order. But yeah, no,
okay.
You said that. No, it's true.
I need to choose my
because it is. I'm not. It's okay. You don't have to. It's totally fine.
So like the personal life overspills into your business, and your business overspills into your personal life, and so they go hand in hand. And so I'm so happy that you mentioned that, Hillary. That's so powerful. Okay, so. Can we talk a little bit about your guide? Because I know that it will really help someone get started as a coach. And then I have a few more questions for you.
Yeah, so what I did, because when I was looking at this whole thing, the biggest question everyone had was, do I need to get certified, right? Do I need to get certified? How do I get started? It's a huge, you look at the market, the questions that people are asking is like, well, there's so many coaches out there. How am I going to stand out? And it's a real thing. Is like, anyone going to take me seriously? So, there's really, powerful questions that we ask. Which is a hint that you're a good coach because coaching is a lot about questions. Exactly. So the free coaching toolkit, which is, under the art of becoming a coach, is the free coaching toolkit is a checklist that really brings you through to see if certification is for you or not. And it's like, and it's not that certification's wrong or bad because you can't do it wrong. It's just a matter of somebody else giving you their stamp of approval. And then at the end of it, you got to figure out who you're coaching on what anyway, right? So there's a checklist that you get to go through and get really clear on which way to go. And then there's an interview, a broken down, like an interview of how more of than what I've shared here around the art of becoming a coach and how the art of becoming a coach was created. And also Elizabeth Purvis, who's a master coach, we do a whole masterclass together around why now is one of the best times to become a coach. And so we even talk about how Weight Watchers has coaches. So that's all in the free coaching toolkit. And, that's a great place to start because you just basically know, okay, what are the next steps for me to take? Exactly. I'm like all in the starlight. I'm like, the angels are on me today.
Yes, Hillary. I love that. I want to read a comment from Tyree. And ton of exclamation points. Love it. Niche identity has been a challenge for me too. I have now been working with emerging entrepreneurs with digital graphics and I resorted to this skills set because it was the things people, and I think it posted too soon, things people wanted. And I think maybe Tyree, I think that's what you want to say, but that's the thing. Yeah, people start with what people want. Start with what people want and are asking you for, maybe even if it's not like your entire vision right away.
Okay, now it's a little better. It might be a little darker, but I just feel like I was totally there. Fine. So thanks everyone. It's just like real deal.
We're live. And that's the reason we're live.
No, it's cool. It's just, it was raining in LA. So go ahead.
Which is a good thing. I'm so glad it rained in LA. Who was it that posted that there's rain in LA? Somebody on social media. Anyway, so Hillary, so let's just say the mom goes on, gets your toolkit, goes through, because it's really great. Like, I mean, it will really help you figure it out and like really get the thoughts of, what's that word? There's a phrase that it's actually like literally like a branded phrase for that.
It'll come to you.
Imposter syndrome.
Oh yeah, well that whole imposter syndrome, yes.
So like, who am I? And you covered on that a little bit. Who am I? I'm not good enough, or who am I to teach this? Like, I don't even have it together myself. And so, and I also want to touch upon the timeline. The timeline has really, hands down, helped me really understand the whole coaching perspective. Is because you literally just sit down and just write like year 19, like, I mean, from you were born, what happened to you, what things you overcame in school, maybe like a huge event happened when you were a teenager, and then you got married and then you struggled with this and then you overcame this. Just write it all out, and that's just put everything on paper, do it like a major brain dump, and you will literally see, like, the writing will be right there. You will see what it is for you, where for you to start, what topic for you to start coaching on, who to reach out to, because you're literally just doing it 2 steps. You're literally 2 steps ahead of somebody who needs your coaching. All right, Hillary, thank you so much again for your time and for doing this. I know Monday is not a good day for you. Because
no, it's not a horrible day. We made it work. It's okay.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Monday is such a good day. But
yeah, don't worry. It's cool.
But it's when you're spending time with your son. So I really appreciate you for taking the time and making the arrangements and having a nanny come and taking care of him while you're doing this with us. I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And any questions, just let me know. And I'm sure with the link and everything, Vicky will share that with you. But if you just go to theartofbecomingacoach.com, then you can see everything there. And we're going to take really good care of you. Like any place you opt in, you know you're going to get a bunch of emails, and we take care of you to answer a lot of the questions and go a little deeper. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. So please reach out and connect with me here. You can tag me or even, connect with me at info@hillaryrubin.com and drop me an email, because I love connecting and supporting mamas, especially now.
Yeah, now that you're
interested in this. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Hillary. Thank you again.
Thank you, Vicky.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Mompreneur Show today. I really enjoyed our chat with Hillary Rubin, and she definitely has a lot of experience and shared from her personal experience. And I hope that it helps you define what is it that you want, and maybe add coaching as an extra source of income. Or if you haven't started a business yet, maybe coaching would be the right fit for you. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please go on to mompreneurship.com for more episodes just like this, and I hope I'll see you next Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, live on Facebook Live. I've been your host, Vicky Lashenko, and this is a show that features amazing stories of the most remarkable mompreneurs. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you next time.